Presenting Diddy and Meek Mill in E minor.
In a moment that sent shockwaves through the courtroom and echoed across the entertainment industry, Meek Mill reportedly reacted in a state of panic after an explosive video was played, allegedly revealing the Philadelphia rapper in a compromising situation involving Sean Diddy Combs. As the footage aired, the courtroom fell into an eerie, stunned silence. What followed was a dramatic unraveling of the public persona Meek Mill has spent years constructing. This is no longer just a courtroom spectacle. It's a complex narrative rooted in influence, secrecy, and the erosion of carefully crafted reputations. The situation shines a harsh light on power dynamics and hidden alliances that have long evaded public scrutiny.
Yeah.
I seen you talking about Busta Rhymes before
Oh yeah.
in some of your videos.
Oh yeah. Super zest monster. For sure, bro. That's my thing, bro. Like, this been common knowledge though. Like, all my promoter homies would always say, man, you know, we gotta bring some we gotta bring some, what they call them, I'm not gonna say it on here. They call them fun boys. They'll say we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta.
Today's investigation dives deep into the long-standing relationship between Meek Mill and Diddy, the controversial leak that has captured widespread attention, and the potential consequences that could reshape how both figures are remembered in the world of hip-hop. Diddy has long maintained close ties with younger artists. Figures like Usher, Justin Bieber, and French Montana often appeared in his orbit. But when it came to Meek Mill, insiders suggest the dynamic was distinctly different. Diddy reportedly showed a heightened interest in Meek's business pursuits, allegedly inviting him to private retreats, elite VIP gatherings, and so-called spiritual cleansing trips on secluded islands. These events, according to sources, often required attendees to surrender their phones, leaving no digital trail or recorded documentation behind.
You have something huge coming up, a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know it was in Miami.
Says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
So was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
While Meek Mill publicly praised Diddy for influencing his evolution as an artist and entrepreneur, persistent industry whispers questioned the nature of their bond. Why would a well-connected rapper rely so heavily on Diddy's mentorship? And more importantly, what unseen force seemed to bind their relationship so tightly? Now, with courtroom revelations emerging, those early questions are being re-examined as potential red flags, overlooked signs of a much deeper situation. The legal battle currently surrounding Diddy has escalated to unprecedented levels. What initially began as an investigation into suspected financial misconduct has since expanded into a sweeping case involving RICO charges, sex trafficking allegations, and accusations of blackmail implicating powerful names within the entertainment industry. According to leaked legal documents, federal prosecutors spent over 2 years gathering evidence, amassing confidential testimonies, combing through financial transactions, and, most critically, securing video content. This evidence was reportedly obtained through raids on multiple Diddy-owned properties in Los Angeles and Miami.
Been warning us about Diddy for years, and now people are finally catching on. Back in '06, 50 dropped the bomb, hinting Diddy knew something about Biggie's death. Fast forward to now, he even hinted Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death. And let's not forget, 50's avoided every Diddy party because, in his words, Puffy hugs you from the front and the back at the same time. Now, with all these new allegations, 50's just like, I told y'all. He even sold a Diddy documentary to Netflix. The man's been clowning and calling Diddy fruity for years, and maybe he wasn't
One hard drive, seized during the investigation, allegedly contained footage later presented in court. That footage reportedly showed Meek Mill in an intimate context with Diddy, an explosive piece of evidence that sent shockwaves through the courtroom and redefined the case entirely. On the day the controversial video was played in court, multiple sources say Meek Mill appeared visibly distressed. Seated alongside legal teams, court staff, and members of the press, he reportedly began to sweat, shift anxiously, and mutter as the screen illuminated. Witnesses described the courtroom atmosphere as tense and electric. Meek's attorneys immediately attempted to object, claiming the footage was irrelevant to the specific charges at hand. However, the prosecution argued otherwise, insisting the content was critical for establishing patterns of control and manipulation exercised by Diddy within his inner circle, particularly over individuals like Meek Mill. The footage, said to be recorded in a luxury suite following a private gathering, showed a post-party atmosphere, while grainy, prosecutors asserted that it demonstrated clear signs of physical closeness between Meek and Diddy.
Baby mom, Misa Hilton, she came out with a statement saying that she seen the video, and when she seen the video, it brought back her own trauma, and she knows how Cassie feels.
Wow. That was big there. That was big in so many ways, man. I was catching flack, talking about, I never heard of that before. I never heard that Puff ever put his hands on Misa. You just making shit up. If you saw it, you know why you ain't do nothing about it. I didn't see it. And I always say, Mighty, when I heard something, somebody, and these are the people who were saying it, I always say that. I don't try to claim everything. If I see it,
The judge, citing relevance to the case, permitted the video to play for nearly 2 minutes before halting it to maintain courtroom decorum. Meek's response, according to observers, was one of immediate panic. He reportedly stood up mid-session, demanded to consult privately with his legal counsel, and exited the courtroom shortly afterward, under the escort of security personnel. Following the courtroom reveal, Meek Mill's team acted swiftly. Public relations specialists were activated, former associates were reissued non-disclosure agreements, and a formal statement was circulated claiming the footage had been digitally altered or deep-faked using advanced editing technologies. Despite the denial, the internet reacted instantly. Clips of Meek's courtroom demeanor went viral, spawning an avalanche of memes and sparking a frenzy of commentary online. In a world where public image is critical to survival, Meek's reputation began to suffer noticeable strain. Behind the scenes, insiders described Meek as furious, feeling ambushed, exposed, and cornered by a controversy that had long remained hidden from public view. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal representation maintained total silence, choosing to concentrate solely on the broader RICO defense strategy as speculation around the footage continued to mount. The tape did more than shake Meek Mill's composure.
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
It cracked open the door to a much larger narrative, one that has haunted the music industry for years without ever being fully addressed. What once circulated as hushed speculation is now becoming part of a much louder conversation. Long-standing whispers surrounding Diddy's inner circle and his complex relationships with artists, assistants, and longtime associates are now resurfacing with renewed intensity. Multiple former Bad Boy Records employees have anonymously come forward, suggesting that manipulation, coercion, and the weaponization of personal secrets were often tools used to maintain control and silence. In this context, Meek Mill appears not as an isolated case, but potentially one of many artists who may have been entangled in a system far more orchestrated than previously understood. What was once dismissed as tabloid gossip is now being reconsidered as credible warning signs. Because if the tape is real, and a growing number believe it is, it points to power dynamics behind the scenes that are far more disturbing than anyone imagined. Meek Mill's story was long held up as a narrative of triumph. From navigating legal challenges in Philadelphia to rising as a respected voice in criminal justice reform and business, his trajectory symbolized resilience in the face of adversity.
Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday. It's fabulous. The only nigga that got the name that I want. It ain't get. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
Let's take a shot for that, bro.
My mouth a little dry. Let me drink some more. Okay. But
No, it's your show today, Daddy.
The one thing I've been you got questions?
Groove, come here, groove.
Yeah, Fab. Fab told me the floor you fifth.
Hey yo, Rastafari. Hey yo,
Fab walked in.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's why I said let me pick it
We
up.
was talking to
That's why I said let me pick it up from right there.
But now, that carefully constructed legacy faces unprecedented scrutiny. Though Meek has not been implicated in any criminal activity, his connection to Diddy places him squarely within a widening investigation. And in an era where perception often holds as much weight as legal facts, that association is proving increasingly costly. Corporate sponsors have reportedly begun to withdraw quietly. Joint ventures are allegedly being delayed or reassessed. Radio stations are said to be slowly minimizing his presence from rotation playlists. The question now isn't just whether Meek's career can withstand the scandal, it's how much more information remains unreleased, and whether the next revelation could push the damage past the point of recovery. For someone known throughout the entertainment world for being outspoken and constantly in the public eye, Sean Diddy Combs' silence in the face of mounting controversy has become increasingly conspicuous. As Meek Mill faces public scrutiny and media coverage intensifies, Diddy has opted to remain entirely silent, not even offering a minimal denial or clarification. Some observers believe this is part of a carefully orchestrated legal defense. Others interpret it as a possible admission of deeper involvement, or at the very least, an acknowledgement that far more damaging material may still be unreleased. One insider has alleged that Diddy may have maintained recordings like the Meek Mill footage as strategic leverage, using them as insurance in case any associates ever attempted to go public. If this is true, it would reframe Meek Mill's role entirely, not simply a protege or industry ally, but potentially a participant held in check by tactics of manipulation and fear. This silence isn't neutral. It's amplifying the conversation, it's accelerating speculation. In a time when silence can easily be interpreted as guilt, Diddy's refusal to address the claims could be doing long-term harm to both his legacy and his defense. This growing scandal now represents more than a moment of personal fallout. It marks a cultural shift within hip-hop itself. For decades, the entertainment industry protected its most powerful figures, allowing rumors to fade and accusations to be ignored. But that era appears to be ending. The rise of independent media and increased legal scrutiny is slowly breaking down those long-standing walls. Artists who once proudly collaborated with Diddy are now distancing themselves. Mentions are being deleted. Behind the scenes, relationships are reportedly being reevaluated in real time. And Meek Mill, regardless of intent, is rapidly becoming the face of what happens when association with a crumbling empire becomes a liability. This isn't just a controversy, it's a reckoning, one that's targeting the core of the music industry's elite, and the next developments could permanently reshape the business, its culture, and its future trajectory. What's now being whispered in high places is that Diddy may have kept more than just one tape. Multiple so-called insurance files allegedly exist, each tied to different artists, executives, and influencers. These rumored files aren't just speculation anymore. Multiple former insiders have hinted that during the raids on Diddy's properties, authorities seized encrypted drives containing footage, transaction logs, and even signed NDAs connected to various individuals. If true, this suggests a decades-long pattern of leverage through documentation, a covert network of control where power wasn't just earned, but kept through fear of exposure. Industry insiders are calling it the Black Book of Hip Hop, a digital archive said to include names, dates, and compromising visuals. Lawyers close to the investigation have declined to confirm or deny the contents of these drives, but privately, some say this evidence could spark an entirely new round of federal charges, not just against Diddy, but against others implicated in the material. Meanwhile, executives are distancing themselves behind closed doors. Labels are quietly reviewing contracts. Streaming platforms are said to be reconsidering promotion deals tied to the Combs empire. The music world isn't just shaken, it's actively protecting itself. This is no longer about celebrity drama. It's about institutional collapse, the kind that forces a generation to ask, how deep does this go? And how much of what we consume was built on silence, secrecy, and control? The ripple effects are only beginning. And once these files, or even just pieces of them, surface to the public, the wave that follows may wash away more than just reputations. It could change the structure of the music business from the inside out. As it stands, Meek Mill has yet to issue any public statement regarding the courtroom footage. His legal team continues to push back against the video's authenticity, while Diddy remains deeply entangled in legal battles across multiple jurisdictions. Yet behind the scenes, sources say more evidence is looming, potentially damning materials like emails, private audio files, and most troubling of all, additional unreleased tapes. This situation is no longer about whether something happened. The question has become, how much of this will the public actually see? And perhaps more pressing, how many more high-profile names could be tied to the mountain of evidence the prosecution is slowly assembling? For Meek Mill, time is running out. He faces a defining choice: step forward, separate himself from the chaos, and attempt to protect what remains of his public image, or maintain silence and risk becoming collateral damage in the downfall of a once powerful empire. What's undeniable is this: hip-hop's long-standing culture of secrecy is collapsing. With every court session, every leak, every whisper turned revelation, more of that hidden world is being forced into the light. This isn't just another celebrity lawsuit, it's a cultural reckoning. Meek Mill's courtroom panic wasn't a reaction to mere embarrassment, it was a moment of realization. When the truth finally breaks through, it doesn't just stain reputations. It has the power to dismantle legacies, disrupt movements, and alter the landscape of music forever. So the questions now hang heavy. What else lies in those encrypted drives? Who else will be exposed? And just how far does this network of silence and control truly stretch? We'll be following every twist as the story unfolds. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage and exclusive updates. Stay tuned. What comes next might shake the culture even more than what we've seen so far.